Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you as always for your questions. Craig with me here in the studio, John Hutchinson with us, Stevie Nicol as well. Stevie, what's the frame next to you? That's new. To your right-hand side, behind the trophy. What's that a picture of? Yep.
That.
Right. Yep. What's in the frame there? No, to the left. It's like a painting, isn't it?
That is the dinner we had after the Champions League final in 1983-84.
Wow, there you go. Very nice. Look at Don having a look there. OK, a lot of questions about this.
Look there.
Todd Bowley is floating an idea of an all-star weekend, like NBA and MLB in the Premier League. Does the crew think it is something that can happen in the Premier League? And will it be an all-star team or all-star players? So he said basically...
I know what he said. Have you two seen this today?
No. How stupid is that?
So, yeah. So the new American owner and ownership...
We can't get the games in. Never mind adding another one.
Right. Exactly. I mean,
what is it? What's the format, Craig? What is it?
So it'll be North versus South.
North versus South. I mean, as you well know, Dan and Stevie, the players are the players are really going to be up for that.
Yeah.
Not. I mean, I've just seen Henry Winter tweeting about it as well. I mean, read the room.
Yeah.
And I know he might be talking about down the line, but I'm not being funny. I don't like the All-Star game, any of the All-Star stuff here.
Right.
In my personal opinion, I think it sucks.
Right.
Right. I don't care. Right. England doesn't need any drummed up American plastic rivalries. It's not happening, right? So Todd Bowley and his cronies need to get in there and manage their new business properly. Because here's the deal, right? And I know they're all businessmen, but they've got a job in their hands tracking down Liverpool and Man City. Never mind United, Arsenal, Tottenham and the rest. So he's in the door. He's not been in the door 5 minutes, and we're talking about these American, events that happen over here. That might be fine here, right, for some people.
So he cited that it made $200 million MLB weekend.
You may have noticed, right, the Premier League, right, whether you like
there's a
it or
shock,
not,
so they're trying to make money.
The Premier League is the most gross league in the world. Right? It makes the most money, it's watched by the most people, its rights go for the most in almost every country, if not every country. It doesn't need the money.
But he's saying it would help lower league sides.
Well, they could filter that money down from other avenues.
Right.
The players don't want guff like this. The fans, I'm sure, have no interest in doing anything but supporting their own team. So maybe that's just his mentality, but I'm sorry, we don't say we. I'm sure people in England don't have absolutely no interest in guff like this.
So, Don, MLS has all-star teams as well, all-star weekends.
Yeah,
and one time, Stevie Nicol was the coach of MLS All-Stars, and they took on Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. Can you guess the result?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be a 7, surely.
No! What was the result, Stevie?
What was it?
Was it 5 or 6?
I think it was 5, wasn't it?
Should have been a lot. Should have been a lot more than 7 as well.
So, as a man who has featured in All-Stars, Stevie, do you like this idea?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. The culture in America is the All-Star game, and so Americans love it, and that's fine. So if you're in a place or a country or wherever it may be, and everybody loves it, including the players, then that's fine. But don't be going to a completely different culture and try to turn it into something that it's never going to happen. That's the point. It's not the culture in England, certainly, no question. So leave it alone.
Right, Kevin and Mo. Right, we've got a big game this week. Right, we're going to travel down. No, well, I tell you what, we'll have it in Coventry.
Right.
Coventry.
Yeah.
Very salubrious.
Lovely.
Place.
Neutral.
We'll have it there, and you come down, and amongst all these games, magic. We'll find a couple of days in the calendar.
Yes.
In fact, we'll put it a couple of days before the Champions League semi-final. How's that?
Perfect.
Yeah,
put that in there. Right.
You up for it?
Okay.
You up for it?
So I'm hearing a little bit of negativity about
Well,
that.
you may have noticed I'm not an all-star.
No,
kind of guy.
I'm hearing that, most definitely. Meanwhile, we didn't get to talk about this in the show, but we've had quite a few questions regarding that Barcelona penalty appeal that happened just before the break. Why didn't VAR check the penalty on Dembele? That looks like a clear penalty.
VAR
Craig.
did check the penalty.
Well, yes, the VAR did check and obviously decided.
It then deemed it wasn't worthy of review or a look at the monitor. I think you and I are certainly in the same opinion that there was enough of a challenge in there on Dembele. It was Davies.
Yeah.
I think it was
Alphonso Davies.
That it was reckless, a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? Clumsy.
Yeah.
And I think could have been a penalty. Yeah.
Once we saw the replay, Don, I think we were surprised that at least the referee wasn't sent to the monitor.
Yeah, it's one of them. I think it splits opinions, Dan. I think it's one of them where you see it in real time. I was on comms for the game and I was like, oh, that could be looked at. And then you see it again. Then you trust VAR. The referee didn't give a penalty, so then you ask, is it clear and obvious? And I've seen it 2 or 3 times after, and I was in the camp of, nah, it was a coming together. There wasn't too much in it. Play on.
Stevie, will you be able to survive the season watching Liverpool? It seems like it's going to be a roller coaster ride.
I tell you what, it's hard work. I mean, you saw
bet.
Klopp after the game, looking at the cop with a hand on his heart, like blowing as if, whew, that was close. No, I guess in the end, 2-1, it is quite close, but it shouldn't have been. But so listen, if it's tough for Jurgen Klopp to watch, then it's going to be tough for me.
Well, it's hard work for him sitting at home watching it, stuffing his face with a cake, drinking tea.
Yeah, what was
I mean, it's really hard.
Well, excuse me,
What
I
were the
didn't have a
snacks that
cake.
accompanied the game, Stevie?
Excuse me, get it right.
What?
Can of Coke. I had a
What?
bowl of cheese and onion crisps with barbecue hula hoops and dairy milk chocolate. So get it right.
Wow, what a mix that is, Stevie.
Wow.
Yeah,
Goodness.
Ah,
Mind
that was just a
you
little-
had 2 Hershey's when we were watching it.
with almonds.
With almonds. What, does that make it healthier?
I'll tell you what, I nearly bit one of my fingers off when Danny Blind missed that header.
Yeah, it was just wine,
know
wasn't it? They had big fingers as well, Stevie.
Yeah, they would have filled you up. Those fingers.
Big
Sorry,
sausage
Daily Blend.
fingers.
Fish fingers, I never know how fish had fingers. I had that lovely egg sandwich from the Citgo gas station.
Oh, lovely.
Marvellous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You looked at that egg sandwich when I brought it in and you went,
Yeah, it did not look good.
but, you know,
That and your Hershey's
2 Hershey's.
Yep.
And some juice.
and a Mountain Dew. It wasn't juice.
You look a kid again.
Stevie, do you think Liverpool would have a more potent attack if they would have kept Sadio Mane and played him through the middle and not wasted their time signing Darwin Núñez?
Well, listen, Sadio Mane is the finished article, and Darwin Núñez is not. So, I mean, there's your answer. But you know what? There was one time when Sadio Mane wasn't the finished article either. So, listen, give the kids some time.
What do you think, Don?
Well, they only cost 100 million, Stevie, to be fair.
It's that question.
Well,
It's
Cucurella
like when
was
Man City
65,
didn't win
so
a game. It was
I think we didn't do bad on Darwin Núñez.
Why did you just interrupt Don? He was
It's like-
talking, Steve.
That was a bit rude, Steve. It's a bit rude. A bit rude, weren't you there?
Well, I can't hear. You remember, I'm like a couple of seconds or something behind you lot. So,
Well,
I don't
well,
hear
you've
it.
been doing this for 3
So
years.
that's so he's normally a couple of seconds behind him. So that's
So if
the
you add
couple of
that to
seconds
the
delay.
normal,
That's
yeah,
5.
exactly. That makes it a little worse.
5.
Don.
I think it's that question, like the Man City question was, when Man City lose, are they need a striker? When they win 9-0, it's like, yeah, they don't. But Sadio Mane didn't play well tonight. Nagelsmann took him off. He didn't have a good game up against the back line for Barca that are not amazing. So it's one of them. It's one of them, Dan. You're going to miss him because he's a brilliant player and he's been there, or he was at Liverpool, 6 or 7 seasons? So he knew the game. He knew the players, he knew their strengths, he had a relationship down that left-hand side with Andy Robertson, he knew the midfield, he knew everything that was going on. So it's going to take Darwin Núñez a little bit of time. So listen, Klopp's got enough there. He's got Jota, he's got Salah, he's got Firmino, he's got Diaz, he's got enough quality to work with. He's just got to find, I think, his preferred partnerships.
There's no point keeping to have this Sadio Mane conversation, is it? Unless you're trying to wind Stevie up. I know.
I'm not. I didn't choose the
I know
questions.
it's not your question.
Yeah, it's the righteous anger of Craig Burley.
But it's harsh, that, isn't it? There's no point having the conversation because he's not there. He's not, and he wanted to go.
Right.
So I mean, it's not like Liverpool biffed him off. He wanted to go.
Craig, what do you think about Xavi now? His tactics were average. He made absurd substitutions like bringing Ferran instead of Fati on the left. I didn't write this. Do you think he's good enough to coach Barca and make them 50% of the old Barca?
I think the answer is at the moment he is good enough to coach them because everything's still got to be determined. I mean, where are we? Mid-September.
Yep.
2 Champions League games. That was the biggest test. Played well, didn't get the result. That's what it's all about. Yeah, his substitution, certainly the Torres and not Ansu Fati was a bit strange. But as a general rule of thumb, his team played well, but they didn't defend particularly well in the beginning of the second half. So I don't think the time is to start talking about... If Barcelona don't make it out the group, and if Barcelona don't come close in the title race with what they've spent in their squad, then there's going to be questions. But no, it's a bit early.
Don, should Frenkie de Jong start ahead of Gavi?
I thought Gavi and Pedri were sensational tonight for 45. I like Frenkie de Jong. I think he's a brilliant player. Yeah, it's hard, Dan. I think Frenkie de Jong's best position is probably where Sergio Busquets plays, and he's not going to displace him, not for a good few years. So it depends on where Xavi sees him. I think in pre-season, in 1 or 2 La Liga games, he's played him certainly as a centre-back, which is not his best position. I understand that he's very good on the ball. It's hard. It's very hard to choose which one you'd go with between de Jong, Gavi and Pedri, because 3 brilliant young players.
But you know who I think would give them a little bit something different? And I know Don, being an aficionado of Italian football, is Frank Kessie.
Yeah, came on in the second half.
Because Kessie, he does a little bit of everything. Yeah, he might not have the subtleties of those other players in his passing range, not that it's bad, but he's got a real physical presence about him as well, and he's gets a decent quota of goals. I just think he gives something different to all of those players, including Frenkie de Jong. Yet at the moment, Xavi sees him as somebody who is coming off the bench. Maybe that'll change, I don't know.
Final question, start, bench or sell? Stevie, Musiala, Pedri, Bellingham.
Ooh. Start, bench and sell. Well, you sell Bellingham, because that's what they're going to do.
No,
So
that's a cop-out.
You either bench... No, it's not.
No, of course that's a cop-out.
It's a calculated move is what it is.
No, it's not.
No, the question means who would you... what would your
Listen to
choice
these
be?
boys. Musiala, Pedri. Right, you start Pedri. I think you got to start Pedri.
Okay.
So then it becomes Bellingham and Musiala. Sell Musiala, because Musiala doesn't play as much as Bellingham, certainly, and if you're starting Pedri.
Well,
So you sell Musiala then. How's that?
He's playing every week.
Do you want me to change it again? Are you not happy with that?
I mean, oh well, I haven't said.
He's getting angry. Don't start up.
Musiala plays. He doesn't
I'll
play.
switch it up if you want. To the one to the answer you like. In fact, why don't you just send me the answers and I can just go like that?
Stevie, what's wrong?
He's angry. He's angry. Get that man more chocolate.
No, but you said Musiala doesn't play. And
He was man of the match tonight.
Not as much as the other two.
Don?
The other two start. The other two always start. Musiala doesn't.
I'm starting
I know,
Musiala
Don, I know.
all day long.
Has Don got a stutter?
I'm starting him all day long. Musiala starting all day long.
Really?
I'm benching Bellingham and selling Pedri.
Wow.
Musiala's
You
like
really
a
don't even start him.
He's a G.
Wow. The Spanish contingent going to be after
We've
you.
had drop.
Don, you've made Stevie really angry.
Listen, I work with 1 or 2 lads at the Premier League, and I work a lot with Owen Hargreaves. and he knows buying inside out, and he tells me, and my eyes see, and I agree with Owen, this kid is a genius.
But is Pedri not more of a genius?
No, but not. Wow. I mean, listen. I mean, what a question it is. I mean, it's an impossible question, but I would say start Musiala, bench Bellingham, drop Pedri.
Wow. There we go. On that bombshell, that brings us to the end of today's show. Just a reminder, we'll be back tomorrow to reflect on those Champions League ties. Who's playing? It's Real Madrid, isn't it? Real Madrid against Leipzig tomorrow. City against Dortmund. Chelsea, first game under
Salzburg. Salzburg.
Yeah.
Help me out.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Yeah,
Thank me later.
Thank you later, guys. I'll get you a Hershey bar with almonds. Thank you very much, Stevie. Go and have a lie down. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.